Hey, what's going on, Game Leapers? This is Coach Cheeks. In today's video, we have some exciting news for you because the changes for patch 13.16 have been released on Twitter, and I'm super excited to get into these because I think the meta is probably going to shift, to be honest. And yeah, we're close to Worlds, and I think some of these champions getting buffed and nerfed will either not be seen or be seen because they're getting some serious help from the Rito balance team. So to make sure, guys, you know exactly what the changes are, make sure you stick around for the whole video. But if you want to master any of these champions, there's one thing you have to do. That's to check out the Game Leap website down below, description, comment section. All you have to do, bro, is sign up for exclusive access to daily challenger videos. These might be based on micro, macro, they might be challenger VOD analyses, they might even be some coaching sessions that we've done with players. We have all been there and done it, and we're trying to help you out as well. We have so many videos that help you for every single champion and role, so make sure you check that out down below. So yeah, let's get into the 13.16 patch preview. First of all, we're going to start with the champion buffs, and there are 9 of these. Now, first of all, we have our Kali. So your Q's base damage is increasing from 40 to 140 to 45 to 145. This is a 5 increase. Then we have your Q's energy cost. This is getting reduced from 130 to 70 to 110 to 70. This one in particular, the mana cost going down, is absolutely massive. Your early laning phase is really where you're at your weakest, and this will help you out enormously in terms of CSing, also pressuring the enemy champion, because it kind of feels like at the moment when you're playing Akali, you need your Shroud to be able to trade with the enemy champion kind of just okay. So these will be huge buffs for this mid lane assassin, and honestly, I'd much rather see Akali at Worlds rather than 2 AFK farming mages. Next up, we have Brand. So your passive, the mana restore in this is going up by 10. Then we have your Q's AP ratio, which is increasing by 10%. Your E's AP ratio is also increasing by 5%. Now, the AP ratio going up, this pretty much means that if you're playing lane Brand in particular, something like, mid lane Brand, maybe support Brand, this will help because you might be rushing like a Leandry's, and you do get a decent amount of AP from this. But yeah, it just means like later in a game, you'll be dealing more damage. I don't see what the problem is here. Lots of people are complaining about this. It really helps out mid lane Brand if you're playing him in the mid lane. Of course, he might have other issues, but his mana going up through his passive and a bit of extra damage, this helps you build flat out AP to one-shot everyone on the enemy team. Now, next up, we have Caitlyn. So the passive, your number of headshot stacks, this is reducing from 6 down to 5. This could be one of the biggest buffs of the patch because basically your passive is going to be everything. Obviously, stacking this with auto attacks and auto attacking from brushes. I think good Caitlyn players are really going to make use of this. And this just means as well, because you'll be getting more headshots off through the auto attacking, you'll be having more pressure during the laning phase, which is what this champion is about. So I wouldn't be surprised if Caitlyn's pick rate goes through the roof with this, and I can probably predict here as well that she will actually become way more played in pro play. Next up, we have Echo going to the mid lane here, and your Q's outgoing base damage, so your Q1, this is increasing by 10 at each rank. The Q slow in this as well is also increasing at early ranks, and the W base shield you're getting is increasing by 30. This is a massive increase for Echo, like for his W base shield. This really helps your trading. Also helps, of course, in jungle. So when you're, clearing camps, you're going to block more damage. And then your Q's base damage going up. Will this mean that you can one-shot waves at a particular point in a game? We'll have to wait and see. Maybe even like Tank Echo, Bruiser AP Echo is back. God, I hope not, but you never know with the right balance team. And also the slow increasing just helps you in those trades, and landing it will be more impactful. So mid lane Echo to counter all those mages with skill shots. Is he going to be back? Time will tell. You get what I did there? Anyway, moving on, we have Karma, guys. So your Q's AP ratio is increasing by 10%. The ultimate cooldown you have, this is getting reduced at later stages of the game. And then your RQ explosion, the actual AP ratio in this, when you use your Q of your ultimate, is increasing by 10% as well. Now, the Q's AP ratio is going up. This means for lane Karma, so if you're playing mid lane or maybe top lane Karma, with actual AP items here, this is going to be better for you. Bit like the Brand, right? Building more AP items, like actual AP items, no support variants there, you will be dealing more damage with your Q. Also, the R cooldown going down is nice. This means that later in a game, you will be getting more ultimates off, regardless of the basic ability you pair that with. And the RQ explosion AP ratio going up, again, in the late game, when you have a lot of AP, this will be significant. You will be like half healthing people on the enemy team. So you never know, like Night Harvester, First Strike Karma might be legit. Then we have Lulu getting buffed. I really don't want to see too much Lulu, to be honest, at Worlds, guys. That's just me, because she is a very passive laner. So your health growth is increasing. Also here, interesting change, we have your Q's AP ratio is increasing by 10%. Does this mean like mid lane Lulu is going to become legit? Then we have your E's damage AP ratio also going up. So is this a thing? All right, trying to encourage Karma foreign Lulu players that play them in lane. We'll have to wait and see, right? But these are definite buffs to Lulu, and they do help her a little bit. Moving on, we have Milio, who might be getting some of the biggest buffs in this patch. So your Q's base damage is changing. So it's going down at early ranks, but it's going up by 50 by rank 5. In other words, at level 9, your Q's base damage is 320. That is absolutely absurd. Also here, your AP ratio in your Q is increasing up to 120%. Bro, I don't know what they're smoking on that balance team, but this is one of the most cracked changes of all time. 120% with a 320 base damage. Dear God, you are going to one-shot people. I don't even care if you're just building something like Shirelia's. You will be dealing so much damage regardless of what you build with these numbers. Then we have your E's base shield that's increasing as well at later levels, and your E's AP ratio is also increasing here. So alright, trying to encourage these supports to be more played in lane, or just to go out like full AP as a support. Maybe it might not be the best way to play these champions, but hey, it adds another dimension to the game. Next up, guys, we have Sylas with another big buff, and it doesn't look like much, right? So your base mana is increasing from 310 to 400. Now this is quite a lot of mana you're getting, right? An extra 90 mana. The big point I want to make here is that Sylas at the moment, right, you have to go Lost Chapter into stuff like Leandry's, Everfrost, all that stuff, right? But with a base mana increase, this might mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, we'll have to wait and see, of course, but this might mean that you can go Night Harvester, something like Rocket Belt potentially, instead. It's almost like Fizz, right? Fizz, you don't really want to go mana mythics because you don't really want mana. You're just an assassin, right? Who wants to one-shot people, and you want to go Rocket Belt, Night Harvester, but that's still an issue for Fizz. So you have to go Lost Chapter into one of those mana mythics. Sylas is the same thing. So with this base mana increase, does this mean you can actually go like a magic penetration, you know, full one-shot build, AP assassin style? I think this is a very good change, and if that is the case, I'm super excited for it, to be honest. Last champion getting buffed here, guys, is the Monkey King. So for Wukong, your mana regen growth is increasing, your Q's mana cost is going down, and your W's mana cost is also going down at early levels. This means for Wukong, basically, if you're playing him in lane, this is where these changes will affect you the most. So if you're playing top lane Wukong, I think these are really nice changes. Of course, in the jungle as well, you're less reliant on blue buff, but yeah, top lane Wukong is really going to appreciate these. And by the way, guys, Lucian got pulled from the patch, or yeah, they just haven't actually like released the changes yet. Now moving into champion nerfs, we have 5 of these. So Neferi, your base attack damage is getting reduced by 2, your base armor is getting reduced by 2, and your base attack speed is getting reduced as well. Base numbers pretty much just mean early game, right? So Neferi getting snowballing, it's going to be harder now. So these are straight up nerfs, and Neferi's win rate will definitely drop. Next up, we have Rek'Sai. So your unburrowed Q-AD ratio, this is changing from bonus attack damage, scaling off bonus attack damage, to actually scaling off your total attack damage, kind of like what they did to your E's damage, right? Last patch. This just means if you're playing Bruiser Rek'Sai, well, that's just the way to play this champion. I don't really think these nerfs are that big, and Rek'Sai will still be Rek'Sai in 13-16, so if you're maining her, I wouldn't worry too much about it. And hopefully she'll be banned less as well. Moving on, we have Shaco. So your base mana regen is getting reduced, and your W's mana cost, so to put that Jack in the Box down, it's going to cost a flat 70 mana now. This also affects, you know, if you're playing mid lane or top lane Shaco, so pink ward, rip, but also if you're playing jungle Shaco and you're getting pressured early game and you don't have blue buffs, like your abilities actually cost quite a bit of mana, right? So this is a big increase early game, and it will affect you. So I think Shaco will be worse off for this, especially if you're playing him as a support. So this kind of looks like a big hit here. I don't even really know why they nerf Shaco support. I guess he does well in like lower elos, but he's such a niche champion, like I don't think they had to do this. Anyway, moving on, we have Shyvana, who was good for one patch, and now she's getting gutted in consecutive patches. Well, not really gutted, but yeah, nerfed in back-to-back patches. It's kind of funny for a champion who is pretty niche, just like Shaco support. So your W's base damage per tick is getting lowered, your W's bonus AD ratio is getting lowered, and your W's on hit damage is also getting reduced. Basically, Shyvana is just going to be worse off if you're going the attack damage version, right? So if you're playing AP Shiv, you're not really going to like worry too much, I guess, apart from the W base damage per tick, right? But apart from this, man, like AP Shiv is kind of untouched, but AD Shiv, that's where you're going to feel this. Now, last champion here, guys, getting nerfed, this is Tristana. So your base health is getting reduced, your base armor, though, and your armor growth are both increasing. I don't know why Riot have done this. They could have just left it as it is, because now Tristana is going to be counterpicked in the mid lane against those attack damage champions. Yasuo she might struggle against, but lots of other AD champions Tristana does well against because she can just jump away from them, right? It's very hard to stick to her. So her base armor going up by 4 and her armor growth going up as well. Man, I don't know why they did this, but the main change here is her base magic resist, kind of like I called it in our last video, is getting reduced from 30 to 28. So this is going down by 2, and it just means against those mages in the mid lane, you are going to be more susceptible to taking more damage, of course. I don't think these changes are honestly big enough, though. They sound as if they're just compensation or even, changes, not nerfs, right? So Tristana mid, I still think she's going to be an issue. And in the bot lane, she'll be even better because her armor is going up, man. So watch out for Tristana being picked in every single game, guys, in 13-16. Now, system buffs. We have, so Axiom Arc, the first one, the base ult cooldown refund is getting increased to 10%. For Prowler's Core, the cooldown is getting reduced to 5 seconds, and also the bonus AD ratio is increasing on this as well. This is really big for all those AD assassins. Then we have Serpent's Fang, the lethality is increasing to 15 from 12, and Umbral Glaive, the lethality is increasing to 13 from 10. These are really nice changes to every single one of these items, but the big one here for you lethality users is the nerf to Dustblade. So the cooldown, get this, is increasing from 10 seconds to 30 seconds. I don't know why they did this, but hey, this is one of the biggest nerfs I've seen, and also the damage is getting reduced from 0 to 20% to 0 to 18%. So kind of rip Dustblade. Maybe it will still be okay, but yeah, these just look way too severe, and to be honest, maybe you're even going Eclipse or just Ghostblade again now. Of course, we'll have to wait and see, but those were the changes, guys, for 13-16. Please let me know in the comment section what you think of these. I will see you in our next video. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Coach Higgs. Peace.